Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek with a myth of the day to talk to you about the coin market just a little bit. Just before we get started, I want to say thanks to everyone who helps support the channel. Even if it's something simple like liking and sharing videos and commenting, we appreciate that always. Also, there's a little Abraham Lincoln icon at the end of the video that if you click on, it'll show you a couple different member rates that you can join in and support the channel, some of which may involve some behind the scenes videos that you may never get the visions out of your mind. Let's just put it that way. All right, so a big myth, one of my favorite myths, is that I'm going to get more money as a collector if I sell to other collectors. This comment is something that it was spurred on. I actually hear this quite often, and I got a comment from Tylon telling me, hey, when he sold a bunch of his coins himself, one thing that was interesting to him that he noticed was the vast majority of coins he still sold to dealers and not to collectors. And I want to talk to you a little bit today about why that is. Now, why is it that if you think, man, I'm going to sell my coin collection to more collectors and I'll get more money for it, why that doesn't actually happen as frequently as you think that it would? One of the first reasons is if you have a large coin collection, most coin dealers and coin collectors are going to view them a little bit differently in that a coin collector usually is just looking for one or two coins that they need out of all the coins that you have. And the rest of the stuff they don't need. So they're probably going to view the coin collection the same way that a dealer would. In other words, they would start to discount all the other coins in a way that they can make money on them, which doesn't really help you out, right? And so if you put these coins up for sale, dealers usually are going to be willing to go ahead and inventory certain items, especially if you have nicer coins. They're going to be willing to inventory items and have them for themselves. One of the main reasons why when you try to sell to a collector, you're actually probably not going to. Let me use more precise language. Okay, somebody please make me use more precise language. How's that? When you're dealing with collectors, there's certain items that you're going to be able to sell more easily than others, right? But what is a collector really doing on the other end? Well, what are you doing when you're collecting, right? You're looking for a deal, right? If you're searching different auctions or dealing with stuff, you want a deal. So what do you think the other guy wants? He's the same as you. He's just in a different seat. He wants a deal on stuff, right? So you'll see lots of guys, especially now, if they already have a coin, it's the same thing that's going to happen with a dealer. If a collector already has a coin and they don't need another one, they're going to just try to get a deal on it. And, maybe they want to keep it for themselves long term anyways, but they want to try to get a good price on it. And so when Tylon says a lot of the things he ended up selling went to dealers, is because those dealers probably had a customer for the particular coin. Your other collectors don't have a customer for a particular coin, right? They're not going to buy a coin for a buddy, generally speaking, right? So this is one of those funny things in the marketplace where things are not quite as they seem. The same thing happens, by the way, when you sell things at auction. I've sold plenty of things at auction, and if you look at the big auctions, lots of times the people who are buying coins are dealers. Now, sometimes those dealers are actually just buying for a collector, right? So it's not quite the same. They already are spending the collector's money ahead of time. They work on a commission basis. This happens, by the way, on very expensive coins. It's actually kind of how it works sometimes, where a collector doesn't want to be known as the person buying the coins, and so they use an intermediary. They use a dealer to purchase the coins for them, and they just pay the dealer a flat rate of whatever the percentage is, 5% or whatever the number might be, right? So, but in that middle ground, we're not talking about super rare coins. Maybe we're talking about coins that are a few $100s, which I know is still expensive. It's still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong here. But lots of times you'll see that collectors aren't always the ones buying those coins. And I've sent plenty of things to auction that sold for what I would call too cheap, right? You send it to auction thinking you're going to get retail. You're getting the same idea, like I'm going to get collectors to buy my coins, and therefore it'll be more money. So I've done this because when I consign to an auction house, I'm thinking I'm going to get more money because collectors are going to fight for my coins. And then you find out later that, well, no, not everyone was there to watch your coins. And by the way, that gets to another point, which is it really depends on who actually sees the coins that you have, right? So when you're listing coins, wherever it is, whether it be on Facebook marketplaces or Instagram or you're doing eBay, it depends on who sees your coins as to whether or not a collector is going to buy your coin. By the way, and I hate to say this out loud, but that's why eBay is so productive. eBay has more eyeballs, right? So when you're on Instagram, whether or not someone sees your stuff is whether they're already following you, plus, if someone else happens to see something internally, that's going to be a thing, right? And if eBay, though, you've got a bazillion people who watch eBay. And it pains me to see how things sell on eBay when they should sell on the website. Which, by the way, if you see an item on eBay that we have, it's probably on a website for less. Just a little tip there for you. All right, so anyway, one of my favorite myths of all time is that you're going to get more money for your coins when you deal with collectors, and it's just not always the case. Not always the case. And I've had hundreds of conversations in this coin shop from guys who went to the local coin club to try to sell things, and they couldn't. And they came back to the coin shop and they took my offer on it because it's reasonable for something that you're trying to sell, and it's just you don't need the item, you don't want the item, it's more important to you to get the money at the time. And that gets to our last point, which is time. Time is the biggest factor in all of this, right? If you have a lot of time to sell a coin, months and months and months, and you're patient, you'll get more for it. Right. So in Tylon's comment, he's mentioning, hey, he spent the better part of 6 months selling stuff off. And so if you've got the time to do that yourself, that's great. For a coin dealer who's buying stuff, everything's predicated on time, whether they know it or not. They might not even know this, consciously. But the reality is, when they look at something that's going to sit around all day, they don't pay as much for it because it's going to sit around a long time. And if they see something that they can sell instantly, they know, hey, I'll pay more for this because I can sell it quickly, right? And so they may have not gone to business school with a fancy learning degree, but most of them have a lot of good common sense. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben, the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.